Hi, Jay Frederick Smith here, Continental Realty of Jackson. We're at 4511 Springfield Boulevard, and I just got the door unlocked, and we're heading on in to take a look at the inside of this two-story home. Pretty old. I don't know what the year it was that was built, but 20s maybe? The way to tell is to pull up the tax records, and I can certainly do that for you. I haven't actually looked to see the age of the house, but from the kind of construction that it is, I would say in the 20s or maybe earlier than that. So fireplace, nice high, 9-foot high ceilings, AC that works well. Walls are freshly painted, although the texture on the walls, like so many flip properties that I see, is just really done poorly. I don't like it all the way that some of these guys do their work. Same with the ceiling textures. You can see they've done repairs, and they've just not done a good job of putting on texture in a way that matches what was already there. They just spray it on hard, and then you get this thick layer of texture that just kind of looks bad. That's just my opinion, but I'm sticking with it. The fireplace is blocked up, which means that chimney is not necessary, at least for the first floor. They put some luxury vinyl plank in front of it here to kind of, hide whatever was in front of that chimney. Now here's something that's interesting. When I'm looking at the chimney, the floor in front of it, now it's hard to tell here, but I'm looking at that piece of floor, it looks like it's kind of tilted towards the chimney. And so we probably either have some settling from the chimney, which would cause that thing I was talking about earlier with that separation. And if you looked at the separation as I was showing it to you, you'll see it's more separated towards the top of the house because the foundation was settling down and leaning back away from the house. That's why. But that would also pull the floors down if the chimney was settling down. So these are not new floors. These are pre-flip floors. They just left them. This is some kind of, it's not LVP, it is, what do they call it? Oh my gosh. I can't remember what it's called. It's like Pergo. What it is just a thin layer of paper, colored plastic over paperboard. That's what this is. So you've got several places on the floor like this here and there and over here where these floors, the edges of the panels of the floor have started to go bad from getting wet. These floors do not do well in wet conditions. They do not do well in wet conditions. The material will allow water in, and then the floor will start to bubble up around the edges, like you can see here. And then what you get is, the edges start to shred, and then the floors look really bad. So my suggestion is at least this room probably needs to be refloored. And the luxury vinyl plank that's over there is a pretty close match to that. You could probably find that at any flooring store for pretty cheap. So that might be what I would do. We're going into the little water closet. This is so there is a sink, a toilet, and a shower, which makes it a 3/4 bath. It's not a half bath. It's not really a full bath either, but in the MLS, you're gonna see it as a full bath because we don't have a 3/4 bath option. So it's more than a half bath, and so they're gonna call it a 3/4. This was recently tiled in. The tile work is okay. Not all of the corners line up. Not all of the tiles are level with each other or flat. Not all of the grout work is done in a way that I think is appropriate, but the overall look of it isn't too bad. I think, if it was me and I bought this, I'd just come in with some one of those green scratchy pads and some soap and scrub these guys down, especially on the trim, because that's where it really stands out, where the tiles have a lot of grout on them still, and you're going to be able to get most of that off. You should have no problem, in fact, getting most of that off there if that's what you wanted to do. Okay, there's no shower door, and if you've watched my videos before, you know what I think about that. A glass shower door is about 1,000 times better than a curtain could ever possibly be, because a curtain will allow water from the shower head to get out onto the floor. And whether you've got a tiled floor or not, the problem is that those grout lines will crack and water will get down in there. In fact, if you look right here, you see we're already, with a new install, already have some cracking. So that lets the water onto the floor where it soaks down into the subfloor, into the wood, and then you start having rot problems, which is absolutely not what you want. You do not want that, because then you're going to have to tear your bathroom out and redeck it, and maybe even put in some new supports. And that is not a pleasant job. Trust me when I say that. I've done it many times. Not what I like to do. Okay, but other than that, the tiles look all right. The little tiny vanity is the appropriate size, but you know, I think if it was me, once again, I'd probably just buy another one for $100 at Home Depot and have it switched out. Seems like that's sitting on the top of the tiles, and a little one piece like that is cheap. So yeah, I'd replace it. There's also a medicine cabinet here, a little vanity light. This is the cheapo 3-bulb light. I think this is like $20, something like that at Home Depot. And the medicine cabinet is new, but you know, nothing fancy. It's just a little medicine cabinet here. The main light. Okay, there's the fan. So the fan works, that's great. And the main light works too. But you know, this light also not new, and has seen a lot of moisture damage. So here's what I'm gonna suggest. And this is what I do on any house that I renovate that's like this, with a separate ceiling light and fan and vanity lights, which is to wire the fan and the light together on one switch. So when you turn on the light here, it turns on the fan too. Why? Because the moisture from the shower damages literally everything in your bathroom besides like the ceramic. So you don't want to have that in there. Also, you know, when you get out of the shower, either you leave the door open or you let that fan run for 10 or 15 minutes to kind of clear out the moisture in the air so that it doesn't cause you more problems than it's worth. That's a 6-outlet, one of those blocks, you know, it just plugs into one outlet and it turns it into 6. Kind of nice. Why they left that there, I don't know, but it's okay. All right, so we've seen the living room, we've seen the first bathroom. We're going into what is the dining room. Now, I like, for the dining room, I like a little chandelier to sit right over the table. But you know, you get what you get. There's some old style can lights in this room. I love can lights. With the holes out, those are easily replaceable for some new LED ones. And I'm telling you, you're gonna like that a lot. The texture on the walls is really thick and not done in a way that I appreciate, but you know, that's okay. I guess in an older home, you can kind of expect it. You can see where some work has been done, but once again, they didn't really try to match the texture. What they did instead was just spray an extra level of thickness onto it. I'm not really sure what's going on here with the trim around this doorway, but I might put a cap on that. You know, just put a piece of wood or something across the top so that it looks a little cleaner and neater. Some ceiling work has been done. The work around the windows is all fresh, but as you can see here, you know, they didn't really try very hard to smooth out their work or do it in a way that made the walls look nice. That's unfortunate. Baseboards, you've got two different kinds of baseboards, depending on what part of the room you're in. This planar base just goes around a little bit of the floor, not the whole way. As soon as you get up under the bar, then it changes back to the more fancy style. This bar is painted wood, and it's probably butcher block. I would suggest sanding this thing down to get this paint off, and then just put some stain on it, or not stain, but oil on it. Vegetable oil. You put some vegetable oil, 2 or 3 coats of vegetable oil on this, some food grade vegetable oil, you know, and it will soak into the wood and make the wood look nice, and then it will be a nice butcher block top again. That's what I think. And I think it's butcher block because when I'm looking at this, I can kind of see the lines. Can you see them here between these different pieces of the top? It definitely looks like a butcher block top to me under this paint. See what I'm talking about, right? Okay, into the kitchen. So, okay, first things first. You notice here that there's this transition between the dining room floor and the kitchen floor. The kitchen floor is actually up a little bit. Now, I think that's probably because they put this tile down, but it's also possible that they did that to support some water damage under the floors. Now, these tiles are new, but the grout, you know, it doesn't even look like there's grout. If there is grout, okay, there is grout. I can look and see some grout up here. They did not do a nice job of grouting this floor. Couple of things. First, the height difference between tiles, like here and here, for example, is substantial. You've got about this much height difference between these two tiles, and I can see several places where that's the same. Now, the lines are nice, the grout lines are nice, but that's an easy thing to put in. Just getting the floor flat is something that really shows the difference between a professional installer and somebody who's just doing it because it's their home. So, does that mean anything really? Nah. What I would say though is that the grout has not been installed correctly. Even with the tile height differences like these two, the grout lines, these lines, don't have enough grout in them. When you look down that line, it's really, really deep. So these guys need to be scrubbed out, vacuumed, scrubbed again, let dry, and then some grout actually put in at a depth that makes the floor relatively flat, including the grout. That's what should be done. The reason is that the grout helps to support the tile, and if the grout is not done at a proper depth, then the tile can pull loose from the mortar underneath it, and then you know, that causes all sorts of trouble. So that would be my recommendation if you're in this place. You'd want to have that done. The backsplash is interesting with this black kind of a, I don't know what this is. I don't think it's painted. I think it was put on that way. This is a lot of black tiles for a black backsplash. It's looks dirty, but maybe that's just the color of the tile. But I find that interesting. The countertop is new, and this is not, you know, marble or granite. This is just a Formica countertop. Oh, it's not new. You got some holes here burned in. That looks like burns from cigarettes, probably what that is, or maybe a hot pan. So the countertops are the typical Formica countertops, just so you know. Lots of cabinets. I really appreciate the number of cabinets that you have in here. Now these are probably the original cabinets in this kitchen, but I could be wrong because I'm not seeing the external. Typically I would see the external hinges on an older cabinet, but these have the internal cabinets. Okay, and these look like they're maple cabinets painted this white color for whatever reason. Drawers. I think this is the only one. Yeah, so just needs to be tightened up a little bit there. And these are definitely solid wood, though you know, they don't have the soft close functions. Okay, so we've got 2 drawers. This looks like a drawer, but it's just nailed on. You can see the nail here and down here. And over here, let's see, is this a drawer? Nope, that's not a drawer either. So there's only those 2 small drawers there by the sink. Sink is a stainless double basin sink with a pretty low price faucet with a spray head. Thank you at least for that. Nice refrigerator, not new, but at least decent. Some little bit of dings in it. But you know, for a house like this, I'd be happy with this fridge. Okay, so now we're getting into the back where the water heater is and the furnace. Water heater is a Rheem tankless. You can adjust the heat here. Thanks so much for that. I love this. Saves so much space. You know, it takes a minute or 2 for the water to start flowing, but once it does, this is really, really nice. Furnace is in the corner. Looks nice and clean. I can't tell if it's new or not. Not really a way to know that, but it is new enough that it looks well. And if you remember, we saw the air compressor outside look good. It looked new too. So I would say this is probably new HVAC. Electric panel is newer. And it looks pretty good, except somehow or other the door got really bent. Not sure exactly what happened there. D-square panel looks good. What's this cutoff? So there's a cutoff here, but I don't know what it's for. It's all wired in. Maybe it's for the furnace? I don't know. Okay, this is where your washer dryer hookups are. Now, the sad part of this is that your washing machine is gonna stick out to, well, you know, you're gonna have like one little strip. You are definitely not getting past. And not only that, but how are you gonna open the door? You have to have a top load washer and a top load dryer for them to fit in here. You know, I might also suggest a stackable. This door is not going to be usable if you put a washer dryer in here. But that's the way they've got it set up. Can't help that. I'm sorry. It's a challenge, but you know, maybe for every challenge there is an equal reward if you can master that challenge. I don't know. Personally, I would not be happy if I hooked my dryer up and the door only opened 4 inches. That's, you know, about what we're talking about. Well, it'll open a little bit more than that, but it's going to be tough. Really, top loaders here, okay? Fair warning. And forget about using that back door. Okay, so I think that's the entire... Oh, hey, I forgot to mention that the can lights that we saw in the dining room, we'll also see in the kitchen. Also, the kitchen ceiling height is lower. Now, typically, you're going to see that in some places on the ground floor of a house like this, because that's where all the ductwork is for the house. So usually we'd see it in a hallway, but the layout of this house precludes that. So I'd have to say that most of the ductwork is here above the ceiling. That's still a nice height at 8 feet, but let me see if you can see the difference. There you go. So that gives you kind of an idea. There's about a foot difference actually between the 2 ceilings in the dining room and in the kitchen. And that's primarily going to be as a result of ductwork. Now they've done a lot of work in this ceiling too. And we've got some weird slopey things happening over there above that doorway. Don't know why that is, but you know, I guess what I would say is that whatever the work that was done in there probably was related to HVAC, and that doesn't actually hurt my feelings. I would like this cleaned up a little bit, you know, for a flip. I think they could have done a nicer job. But let me just say, with that, the size of this house makes the price on this, even with so far with the stuff that we've looked at, that still makes this house pretty attractive. Okay, we're heading up the stairs to the second story. We've got a little chandelier hanging here in the staircase. It's high enough up that you're not going to hit your head, which goes up to this entryway. Now, this is where a couple of the screens are missing. Neither of these two windows have screens. And there's a restroom over there we'll get to in a minute. And it looks like a bedroom back there. This is probably also a bedroom, but let's just take a look and see. Yeah, so it's pretty small. No screen on this window. This bedroom is, I would say, 11 feet by, or maybe 12 feet by 10, maybe 10, might be even 9 feet. Pretty small, can probably fit a double. You're not getting a queen in this bedroom. Good for kids maybe, or a guest room for the guests that you want to leave soon. It's like, hey, yeah, stay in our guest room. It's a little tight, but I'm sure you can manage it for the 3 days you're going to stay with us, right? Okay, nice size closet at maybe 4 feet by 30 inches, but there's no bar or shelf. You'll have to put those in yourself. Just remember when you do to put that shelf and bar low enough down that you can actually get things on the top of the shelf when you go through the door, so that if it's too high, then you end up with this little space between the door jamb and the shelf where you have to put things in. So keep that shelf down to where the bar is at, not 72 inches, but maybe the bar is at 60 inches and the shelf is just maybe a few inches above that. That would be what I would do. This here is some kind of a closet space, although I don't know what you would use it for. You could put a bookcase in there or something, I guess. That'd be nice. Lots of light though from that giant window that's in here. I appreciate that. Okay, so let's continue on down the rest of the way. The LVP here looks like it's done appropriately. They did a reasonably good job installing it. I'm not sure that the quality of this flooring is top, but it looks nice enough, and the install is relatively good. This may not be LVP. This kind of looks like the same stuff that's in the living room that got wet, which actually, yeah, it is. That's exactly what it is. As you can see here, we do have some chips, but it's in relatively good shape for this kind of flooring. And I guess, a couple of little chips like that don't really bother me too much, the way the floors are. This bedroom, lots of light from 2 huge windows. This closet does have a shelf. It's nice and deep at maybe 5 feet deep and 4 feet across. There's no bar up here, and this is where the attic access is. So if you wanted to store your Christmas stuff up in the attic, this would be the place. So you have to come in through this closet. This is deep enough that you could call it a walk-in closet because you have to walk in to get to it, but it's not any better than a regular closet because, it's deep and it's not wide. You might be able to get a closet kit in here that would help with some of that. So I don't know any good closet guys. A little wonkiness on the ceiling, but nothing that freaks me out too much. Mostly it looks good. We've still got some can lights in here as well as the flush mount, a couple of cans. All these can lights that are in here can be replaced with new LED ones, and you're gonna love that if you have them. Now the room has a funny shape because of the way that corner is cut out, but if you took the corner and made this room rectangular, then it would be really nice sized at, I'd say 16 by 16 or something like that. And that's definitely big enough for a good bed. You can probably get a queen in here now. If that corner was missing, you'd definitely be able to get a king. Okay, got some creaky floors here in the doorway. That's just nails not nailed down properly. Okay, so bathroom, upstairs bathroom. Okay, first things first. Light switch. Okay, they're over here. Nope. No lights. Wait, it's trying. It's just not going there. What's this? There we go. All right, so that switch works. Let me show you this. That's like a 2-inch step up into the bathroom. Why, Jay? Would there be a 2-inch step up into the bathroom? Well, it's because they didn't want to repair or replace the rot underneath this floor. That's probably the reason. So instead, they layered it up really high with other material, and then they put their flooring on the top. That's the common reason for this. I see this a lot. You know, Florida is really liberal when it comes to construction work like this. They don't really say much when it comes to the time to purchase a home. Many states, as the seller, you have to disclose everything, and if not, you can get nasty, nasty lawsuits happening. Florida is not quite as conservative, and as a result of that, you know, people can get away with this. So here's your warning. This is a sign of problems in the floor of the bathroom. That's all I'm going to say. Now, I'm not saying that there is problems, because the only way to know that would be to, you know, pull this deck up, the LVP flooring here, pull that all up, and then you could get a moisture meter to check to see how moist that is. But if you pull that up, you should also be able to get down to the point where you could see the original wood and, you know, get the floor leveled if you wanted to. I would say if this floor feels solid, not to stress it. The only thing about that is, if I was going to leave this floor like it is, I would definitely want the shower door in here. Okay, now, the shower. So let's talk about the shower. They tried to install this tile themselves. And when they got closer to the top, they started having problems. The tile is tipping out, and their grout lines are really, really bad. When you get over here, you can kind of see how nothing lines up. They put in pieces that are small. They just stuffed them in there because they had this extra piece. They didn't cut them correctly. So you got this giant, giant gap that they filled with grout. That all needs to be chiseled out. And these tiles, you can still get them at Home Depot. They're like $1.99 a tile. So you need 1, 2, 3, 4, and then maybe a 5th or 6th one to get the top sealed up, because, you know, that's ridiculous. Come on, you guys. That's some serious grout. That's all I'm going to say. We're not sealed up here. There is no caulk at any of these joints. The corners should all be caulked as well as grouted. And as you can see here, as a result of that, you've got big cracks that will let in moisture. So let's just assume for a minute that you've got your grout all sorted out and the tiles are all straight and you've caulked all of that. You've still got the issue without having a shower door. Water is going to come out of this tub and onto the floor. And although this material looks like it's LVP that's supposed to be waterproof, I promise you, there is not a waterproof piece of material here by this tub. They cut this little strip to fit it in place, and by doing so, they destroyed all of the waterproofing that that tile has. So this joint will allow water to just flow right through it. Also, with the grout lines that they are like in the walls, water is going to go down in there. This is a cast iron tub. Has a couple of dings. That's easy to fix. But, you know, the big issue for me is that you don't want to find yourself falling through the floor in your tub in 10 years from now because the water was leaking out and then rotting the wood out underneath it. So shower door, I would say, is like the #1 thing. And once again, if you've watched my videos before, you know that that's how I feel about shower doors. It's really like the main important thing. And I don't know what's going on over there. There's like something in the grout. I don't know what it is. You can caulk that up. Whatever it is, it's probably fine. Just strange. So, yeah, I love that. Okay, so that is the bathroom, the upstairs bathroom. The rest of it looks okay. You know, I just got a little excited when I saw that, and also the height of the floors. I mean, there's a step. It's high enough that there's actually a step there. So just be warned, you know, be wary. Let me get these lights off and this one off. Okay, and there is a nice little vanity light and mirror there over this, you know, one sink vanity that's up here. But the rest of the bathroom, I think, just needs a little time and effort. So this is probably what I would call the master. There isn't really a master suite here, I don't think. I think that's going to be a closet back there in the corner. But this seems to be the biggest one. And this, if this was square and it did not have that little cutout, this would probably be 20 feet by 16 feet, really nice and deep. And you definitely could put a king bed. You could still fit a king bed in here, okay? Not as easily with that little corner thing like it is, but you can still do that. Lots of light in this bedroom. Nice ceiling height. You've got the can lights here once again. So the closet is the walk-in closet that we saw earlier. I think it's slightly bigger, still about 5 feet deep and about 4 feet across. There is a shelf, no bar. You'll have to do something about that. Not bad. No access here on the ceiling to the crawl, or the attic space, I should say. Smoke detectors, yes. Wall work. You know, they've done some patching here. You can see it under the paint, even through the camera. So it's basically the same thing we've seen everywhere else. You know, not really a good job when it comes to the walls. But, I mean, I guess it depends on what it is that you're after, whether that matters to you or not. I just like good work. That's all it is. So when I see stuff like this, it just takes so little effort to make that right. You know, it makes me cranky. That's what it does. Okay, transom vents for air pressure. That's kind of, I think it's a code requirement these days. So that's good that they put those in. The chandelier, when you're standing here, looks pretty low. But when you're going down the stairs, you're not going to hit your head, even if you're pretty tall. So that's what we're going to do. Getting down to this chandelier, I'd have to be, if I was over 7 feet, then I'd have to worry about that chandelier. So unless you're 7 feet tall, you're probably okay. All right. 4511 Springfield Boulevard. Nice sized 2-story house. Good open floors on the ground floor. I have concerns about what's underneath, but I do about any house this age when they're off grade like this. If you buy this house, you certainly want to make sure your inspector takes a good hard look at the underneath of the house. Lots of light. The fact that all the windows are newer, they're definitely not new windows, but newer windows really helps a lot with this house. I think the flooring, at least in the downstairs area, needs to be redone because, you know, this laminate flooring, that's what it is. This laminate flooring is needing to be replaced just because the edges are all shredded from moisture. The neighborhood, well, I mean, I think you're going to have to decide on that for yourself. I can't really give you advice regarding the neighborhood, but I would definitely, if it was me looking at this house to live in, I would want to make sure that I check the Duval County Sheriff's crime map to see what that actually looked like. And that's it. So, you know, I'm not going to give it a rating, but I will say that I think that the house could have been done better, but it's better than many places that I've seen before. So it's kind of like the neighborhood. It kind of fits. That's it. I'm out of here. Going to head to the next place. This is J. Frederick Smith, Continental Realty of Jax. We're at 4511 Springfield Boulevard. Beautiful, beautiful sunny Friday afternoon. and where's it? Thursday afternoon. I'm getting ahead of myself. So let's get this place locked up, and I will see you at the next one.